A year or so ago we were talking about the issue that we'd got with some 13, 14-year-olds having trouble settling with their family, settling at school, settling in their community, really going through a period when they were vulnerable, the schools couldn't cope with them, and they were getting involved in youth offending teams. We put together this Right Home bid because what we wanted to do was avoid those children having to go into care. We wanted to give them the opportunity of going to live somewhere, even if it was just a day or 2 days, where they could have a break from the things that they were getting into conflict with. We needed some support for them, but we found that young people needed different levels of support. We wanted to provide accommodation with support so that the young people could find their space, get past the difficulties they were in, be supported, and then gently be reintegrated back into society, back into college, maybe back with mum and dad or aunt and uncle, back with their siblings. The transition in their life can be handled without them going through the care proceedings.
I'd say our service is definitely an early intervention service. We focus on how can we make the situation better for the whole family. We restore things, make the family situation better so they can stay at home as opposed to coming into care. A young person comes to stay with us for 3 days and then they will go home for 9 days. But within those 9 days, 3 days we will go out and do outreach and support work with the family. It will be specific to the young person's needs and their family needs. The alternative would be that the young person had to go into care that evening because there was nowhere else. It provides us the flexibility to be able to absorb that issue and work with it. An adolescent centre care is not always the best option for them.
I'm Byron and I'm in year 9 at Calderdale Learning Trust. It gets you away from your family and that, so you can have time away from them, they can have time away from you. When I came, it was like weird at first, but once you get used to the staff, they're nice and that. They talk to you about and what's happening at home and that, and ways to fix it.
The biggest issue that young people face is always just a sort of lack of ability to communicate feelings and wishes within the family. We use a strengths-focused approach and also restorative approaches, and we will try and help both the young person and the parents or carers to understand what that is and what it looks like, and build the skills for them to be able to do them same ways of communicating, approaching issues when they do go home.
There was a recognition across Calderdale that our response to young people on the edge of care and who were at risk of homelessness was not as good as it might be. So we developed what we refer to as the Vulnerable Young People's Panel, and that is a group of professionals who meet about complex young people who are having real difficulties in their lives. That panel key in all sorts of different services, CAMS, Lifeline, youth workers, lots and lots of different services who can support a young person and help move a young person on to a better place.
I'm Lyric and I'm 18 and I live at Range Street. I became homeless when I was 16. I was living with my mum. I got into the wrong crowd of friends. I ended up taking drugs. It just all got out of hand and my mum just couldn't cope with me anymore, so she threw me out. When I became homeless, it was horrible. It just makes you feel so like hopeless. I was just getting thrown from pillar to post. It was awful. I'd go one place and they wouldn't help me, and then I'd go another place, and because I had so much going on, my life was just a mess. I came to this VIP panel. The VIP panel referred me to these 3 different places, and like they'd put you in the right one that they thought suited you. When I first came to Range Street, I really liked the flat. They helped me with like budgeting my money, and if I've ever got any problems or anything, because I've got depression, like they'll help me and stuff. Dawn's really helpful as well. I feel really safe here. If I didn't come here and I didn't get all this help, I really don't know where I'd be. I could have ended up anywhere.
Range Street is a supported living project. We provide self-contained accommodation with intensive support from a staff team 24 hours a day for young people leaving care that have found themselves homeless, that have had family breakdowns. We provide the guidance and give them techniques and the coping mechanisms for them to be able to move on from here into maybe other accommodation or maybe back home, back into family relationships. You're not there to preach and you're not there to make life difficult. You're there to offer them that little bit of support and the little bit of guidance that they actually need at this time in their life. They have to learn to be able to cope on their own, and that's what we're here to provide, to give them tools and them coping mechanisms to be able to do that.
I'm Jordan Smith, I'm 17. I ended up homeless and I didn't really feel safe. I went to my friend's house and just stayed at her house for a bit. Youth offending, found out I was homeless. Come up here and have a visit at the flat. They just help you out so you can get used to living by yourself. It's really helpful. If there's anything that you need help with, they're there. The staff are in 24 hours a day. I have felt a lot more happier since I've been living here because I've had my own space. I've been able to do my own things. It's a really nice environment. It's there to help people out for a reason, and it's actually working. This is here for you to learn how to live by yourself. This is really important, like stuff like this, for people my age. If there wasn't stuff like this, there would be a lot more teenagers and homeless on the streets.
They come from a whole myriad of different scenarios and situations. The situations they come from generally are family breakdown. It could be that they've been involved in youth offending. It could be that they're coming from leaving care. Mainly our 16, 17-year-olds come from relationship breakdown of whatever form that may take. You get the relationship with a young person, for me, that's when all the work can begin. They've got stability in their housing, that's the first thing, and then we can work on the other things that they need in their life. The 16, 17-year-old population's increased massively. 3/4 of the foyer, including the right home element, is 16 and 17-year-olds. You could talk about the general reasons why young people are facing homelessness. Pressures on housing, pressures on parents, lack of opportunities, cuts in welfare benefits. Temporary accommodation is what it is on the tin. It's temporary. Whereas the foyer is up to 2 years. You know, it's got a proper move-on plan. We're providing Calderdale with young people that are going to grow into adults, that have got confidence, that have got skills. It's essential because the young people are there. They need those options. They need the foyer, they need Rain Street, they need Alloe View, they need supported lodgings, they need to have supported tenancies. These options have to be there for young people. Why? Because the numbers are there.
My life's not going to go anywhere if I'm homeless. As long as I've got a roof over my head, I'm happy.
There is a lot of young people going through the same situation that I were in before.
Their lives will take a more positive direction because they've been able to see that it is possible.
We get a lot of young people coming here where they're just rock bottom.
Right Home is there to intervene. It's doing something different and helping young people before it's too late.
It's about broadening people's horizons.
We're about supporting families to promote change, to keep families together.
We're hoping that we have successful adults entering their adulthood leaving care because of this experience.